Hi, this is Jeff Wimmer from Studio Cycles and StudioCycles.com, and in this short YouTube video I want to talk to you about our demo 2012 Star Trac Spinner NXTs that we have on our website right now at $10.95. This bike retails $13.95 to $15.95. It is the 2012 Star Trac Spinner NXT, and these were some bikes that were used in a club to buffer a waiting period. The club was waiting for the Star Trac Spinner blades, and Star Trac had fallen behind on the blades because of the popularity of the blades, which the blade is a brand new model for 2012. And this particular club had blades on order, but Star Trac was behind in production. And what Star Trac did was they stepped up and they said, it's going to be a little while longer, we're behind in production, so we're going to, in the meantime, in the interim, we're going to install 2012 Star Trac Spinner NXTs. So when the blades caught back up in production and they installed the blades into the club, these NXTs were pulled out. And we got a hold of them, and we have them here. This is the newest blade, the newest production. I call this a Generation 4 NXT. They are steel because the blade rather is now the blade is now the aluminum bike in the Star Trac lineup. So the NXT is now made of steel, and this is a 2012 Spinner NXT. The difference between the 2012 Spinner NXT and the previous 3 generations of NXTs, primarily it's the material in the frame. Generation 1, 2, and 3 were aluminum, and the 2012 or Generation 4 is steel. Other changes to the NXT for 2012 for Generation 4 is that the new NXTs also have a fore and aft handlebar, where the previous 3 generations had a fixed handlebar. The 2012 NXT has a new bottom bracket and pedal system, which is much more durable. The 2012 NXTs have these injection molded plastic plates on the ends of the bases in the rear for calf stretches. They also continue to use these big, fat-ass, gigantic, thick, bomb-proof cranks, micro-adjustable saddle, and the resistance mechanism on the Star Trac is very, very simple. It's one single pad top load. So since we didn't build these bikes and we didn't know who built the bikes, we have torn these bikes down. This is how far we tear the NXTs down. Actually, this is in the process of being put back together. We also pull the cranks and go through the bottom bracket mechanism as well. Just as an afterthought, one other issue or one other upgrade for the 2012 NXTs is the 2012 has a much narrower Q factor. And the Q factor is the distance between the outside of the crank arms. A lot of road bikes have a narrow Q factor, and it falls in line with the alignment of the hips and the hip flexors. And just the alignment of your legs when you're on the saddle pedaling the bike. So the NXTs, as well as the blades, have a Q factor that's much more reminiscent of a high-end road bike, which ergonomically and biomechanically is much more correct for the human body. So these are some of the NXTs in the state of reassembly. And we check flywheel bearings, we check bottom bracket bearings, we check every link of the chain, resistance pads. Every part of this bike is gone through. And for a bike that's only a few months old, this is an incredible process. I think 99.999% of the used fitness equipment companies, had they gotten their hands on these bikes, and we have quite a few of these in our inventory here. You know, this is just kind of the MO of used fitness equipment companies. What used fitness equipment companies do is they buy used bikes. And there's a term that they throw around. They say the bikes have been cleaned and serviced. Cleaned and serviced can mean as little as wiping the bike or detailing the bike or cleaning it up and oiling the chain. And the warranty that typically comes with the bike is reflective of the amount of work that used fitness equipment companies do to the bikes. And in the case of these 2012 NXTs, they would salivate over these bikes because they look, when they came to us, they looked great. They just didn't ride as well. They were far from optimal, let's put it that way. I could tell that they were built in standard fitness industry fashion, which is as fast as possible, like a piece of furniture from IKEA. And I am very, very, very particular about how the bikes feel before we sell the bikes. So these bikes have undergone a complete teardown and rebuild. We do lifetime parts replacement on these bikes. When you receive the bike, you will be amazed or even slightly irritated at how difficult it is to unpackage them, because our packaging process is absolutely second to none. We overpackage, we double box, we ship UPS, not freight companies. So it'll take you longer to unpack the bike than it will to put it together. And what's involved with the reassembly process is actually quite simple. You have to bolt the bases to the bike, the base in the front, the base in the rear. You have to install the pedals into the crank arms. You have to install the handlebars onto the bike. You have to install the seat tower onto the bike. And you're riding the bike. And if you have questions or you need our help, we're a phone call away. We're another company. We don't farm out our calls. We handle our calls directly. Quite frankly, we get very, very few calls. So when we do get a call from a customer who needs some help, we're always happy to help out. I'm Jeff Wimmer from Studio Cycles. If you need to talk to me directly, here are my telephone numbers. Home office is 888-909-BIKE. Cell phone is 818-470-2204. And the number here at the Hawthorne warehouse is a 310-973-BIKE. Now, I'm the owner of the company, and there are three things I do in my company. And I have, I've got a dozen employees, plus the people who run my stores. I have the only 2 indoor cycling specific brick and mortar retail stores in the world. But I ride and tune every single bike that leaves my company. I write all the checks, and I process all the orders. So I'm heavily involved with what we do here at Studio Cycles. If you are buying a new bike, just some other things, or if you're buying bikes for your club, this is something that we have that no one else has in the free world. This is the Studio Cycles product testing area, and we have bikes from Schwinn, Star Trac, Kaiser, and Le Monde. We have the free motion bikes over here as well, although we dropped free motion, had them for about 3 months. I was all set to consult with them, and I ran into some major difficulties, and I didn't like what I experienced, so I pulled the bikes out of my stores and sent them all back, and I dropped free motion. But we do have their bikes here in our warehouse, and what's amazing about this area here is that it's the one place in the world you can come if you're buying bikes for a commercial facility, and you can try all the bikes in one area side by side by side and get a blow-by-blow analysis and do a comparative analysis of the bikes side by side. So, and if you can take a look around this warehouse very quickly, you'll see that clearly we are not a fitness equipment company. We are an indoor cycling company. And that's a big deal. Just in that we specialize in indoor group cycles. We don't sell everything and specialize in nothing. We are the best in the industry at what we do. And I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Call me up if you're buying one bike for your house, or you're looking for bikes for your club and you want your bikes pro-built, optimized, hand-tuned, and delivered to you working the way they're supposed to work. So that's it. Over and out. I'm Jeff Wimmer from Studio Cycles. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video, and best of luck to you on your road to health and fitness.